Hello everyone, so welcome to the workshop. So today we're going to be covering AI. So it's such a big topic lately. I don't know if you see social media is booming about it. So obviously it's a big concern from all of us because it feels like it's going to start taking our jobs and this kind of stuff. So I've been digging some information about it. I've been even using some AI tools for my own workflow. So I just want to talk about the topic because I think it's very relevant for all of us. Okay, so let's go through it. Let me just put myself here in the corner. So I think I wanted to kind of call this workshop, how do I make sure AI doesn't take my job? Because pretty much that's kind of the topic about, right? Like, is this going to replace us? So let's just talk first about what is AI, right? So in case you don't know what is AI, let me just click here. So in case you don't know what is AI pretty much what it's trying to do is trying to replicate the human brain, but it's processed by machines. That's pretty much all about. All right, so in this case specifically, we're going to be focusing AI towards everything when it comes to digital art, CG industry, etc. So we're going to be focusing mostly in machine learning, which something very important for you to know in case you haven't found out already on the internet is that machine learning is heavily focused on the database. So the more images, the bigger the database, the better it works and it improves over time. So the more inputs it creates, the more outputs eventually it develops and it starts training itself. So that's the cool idea about behind AI. So the more people use it, the better results you start getting. So we're going to be focusing mostly on machine learning because it's kind of how all these Midjourney, DALL-E and all of those work. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. I don't know if you heard that. So I think the three major like tools that people are using to create all these amazing images, because in my opinion actually they look pretty cool. I mean, let's face it, it looks pretty cool. Are Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, and Midjourney, and there's like this like online competition across that with similar inputs trying to showcase the differences. But obviously we are 3D artists, so something that I want you to kind of understand is that these tools specifically they focus mostly on the 2D art, but obviously we as a 3D artist we are going to be also gonna be exposed on these new tools. More specifically, the one that I was kind of taking a look and I think is kind of relevant. It's about Google Dream Fusion. So what is Google Dream Fusion? So something that I found very interesting about this tool is the fact that it's able to create outputs, in this case 3D outputs, based on text inputs, okay? So if you get into online and just type Google Dream Fusion, you'll get into the website. And something I found very interesting is the fact that they already kind of show you some of the models that they've been testing around, and apparently they've been working with this tool for a while. They've been developing this tool already for a while. So it's just like a hard topic now, but I mean there are videos about Google Dream Fusion even from a year ago. So it's very interesting that it's a hot topic now, but it's been like the AI industry has been booming since like 5 years ago. And it's pretty interesting because you can create not only like just very generic shapes. You can create like a ghost eating a hamburger, a pig wearing a backpack, etc. So I do understand that all of a sudden we as a 3D artist we are like hey, what's going on here? I mean, that's pretty much what maybe a client will be requiring from you, and then all of a sudden they can just type it and forget about hiring a 3D artist. But I think at this stage here's where I want to step in, because yeah, I've been playing a little bit with these tools, but I think it's very obvious that it's going to open new markets in that sense. But let's just go through it just little by little. There are some other examples, just for example, a tiger character master, or a coffee cup with many holes. It's very interesting the fact that it's able to reproduce that into a 3D environment. I obviously have no idea. I tried even to find information how it's able to create this kind of stuff, and I didn't understand any single word of it. But yeah, it's pretty cool about it. Anyway, let's keep moving a little bit. In my case, for example, in our case, we as a character artist, or I mean, we want to work as a character artist also in the industry. I just want to show you some of the applications that AI is going through, and one of the most famous ones are the deepfakes, right? So I just want to show you this video from Tom Cruise. the one Tom Cruise like interview, and they just put the Robert De Niro face on top of it. um yeah, it's pretty sick, this kind of stuff. So in case you don't know, pretty much the way it works, you just train a neural network with a whole bunch of input from, in this case, from Robert De Niro, so it's able to kind of understand what are the different expressions, how is the structure from the face, etc. And once the whole neural network is already trained, they will be able to implement it into a video. That's the way it works, and it takes some time and takes some several try and error, but eventually the machine, this network start improving over the time. But yeah, it's pretty sick. Nevertheless, here one of the good news about this fake specifically is that it happens in a 2D environment. Obviously, here we're talking about a video, so technically speaking, even if they are able to reproduce the deep fake on top of the video, it's still a 2D video, so it's not exactly a 3D object, or in this case, a 3D digital human, etc. But from here, the whole thing keeps advancing, which I found very interesting. And I kind of recently also kind of stepped with like this video footage from. I don't have the video here because I didn't manage to download it. But pretty much what they did, they took Robert De Niro face. Yeah, I don't know what they use Robert De Niro all the time, but they it's pretty much like the mannequin from 3D avatars apparently. So what happens is that they took a whole bunch of images from Robert De Niro, footage from Robert De Niro, and they were able to recreate like a 3D avatar from it with a facial rig. So they just pretty much are playing with it like it will be any facial rig. I cannot play the video here because I kind of lost it where I found it, but I have the screenshots here that I took over the time. And I found that very interesting because that kind of is already going one step forward, where you are not only depending on the input, but also you can even modify it, which is very interesting. And also it's able also to kind of change with the different light scenarios, so it can be daylight, night light. It's pretty interesting. And here is where, for example, in my case, me as a I work in digital humans. That's pretty much my field, where it's where I feel like, okay, this is pretty much already touching my career. But then once you start kind of keep thinking about it, where the whole thing will keep moving forward, I have some good news and bad news here. So let's keep moving on the presentation. Obviously, all of these are personal thoughts, but I think it's very important to kind of transmit what I feel about all of this. So the question here is like, should you be scared, right? So I think the answer here is a yes and a no. I try to kind of be going more for the optimistic rather than the pessimistic, but the truth is that you have a bit of both. Nevertheless, I think in my opinion, eventually it's kind of good news, but let me explain you why specifically is a yes and no. So first of all, I want you to kind of remember when 3D scan data exploded. I don't know if you guys remember. At least for you have been like a few more years in the industry. Maybe if you are kind of new in the industry, you didn't know. But when the scan data exploded, I mean back in 2000, let's say 15 or something, where you are able to 3D scan faces. Now with high resolution, you can get the porosity, etc. I remember online there was already this discussion happening, like, hey, this is going to take our jobs. Like no one is going to need now no longer character artists because you already need you already can scan it, right? What eventually happened is that they just create new jobs because you get all those 3D scans, and eventually you need a character artist that is able to clean that up. And that's fascinating because it can even, in my opinion, it can even generated more jobs because now there were more industries, more companies willing to jump into this technology. Even back even going even back more in the time, if you've been working longer in the industry, I remember Marvel designer was already this conversation like, oh my god, now character artists won't be needed because now you can create all these garments, and it's going to be so easy, etc. But what happens here is that now it created a new industry like the 3D fashion industry, digital avatars, etc. So now there are careers that are solely focused to pretty much creating this, which eventually just generated new jobs, which is amazing in that sense. Um, and more recently, I'm sure you hear about, like the meta-humans. That's one of the big ones here. And again, I remember like the whole conversation. Okay, that's it. We're done. Now, pretty much parametrically, we can create faces. And even if they look great, for me it's very obvious, even if I've been working in industry just making faces, is the fact that all these technologies, they help you, but they are limited. And what eventually happens is that they just need a artist on top of all of that. So it's not like every single person can download, Unreal Engine, create a meta-human and make it look amazing, because the truth in this case is that it's going to look like another generic meta-human. And the funny thing is that specifically thanks of MetaHuman, it generated new flow of work when it comes to digital avatars, when it comes to game creation, because now there are more entities jumping into the game uh, just because of this. So again, it feels like instead of kind of pushing us down, it feels like it's just generating just new opportunities that we have to be aware of as a digital artist, and in our case as a character artist, right? So what is the no here? What is bad? So in my opinion, it's going to be pretty much killing lower end jobs. So anything that doesn't need like a top quality, or like something very detailed. I'm talking about like a very small gigs, very small jobs about creating, like a small human from indie game, this kind of stuff. They are going to be probably get lost. So I'm talking about Fiverr work, Upwork, all this kind of stuff. So that's pretty much where I think is going to hit straight when it comes to character artists. So in case you feel like hey, if this is going to affect me. I think if you specialize and get better into one specific field, eventually this is going to be very helpful for you. But in this case, for more generic characters, it's going to get lost. So here I want to talk a little bit about the iceberg theory. So the iceberg theory is something that I read recently this year, and I totally agree, because something that I'm even experiencing myself in my career is that most of us, we only see what is happening on the surface. When it comes to the CG industry, we're talking about what we see on the surface. It's pretty much, video game industry, the CG industry, VFX industry. We see a little bit, like influencer, etc. But the truth is that as a character artist, the industry is vast. You can imagine it's actually pretty big. And I'm talking about, like a not only virtual influencer, I talk like even fashion industry. You're going to find like a bunch of jobs like to get very specialized about one very specific thing. Even as a groomer specifically, it can be also even in the automotive industry. They will need like a specific drivers, like to sit down on the cars. Even in infography as well, you're going to need characters to move around, that they look at specifically one way or another. So it's very interesting that the industry is so vast that we just don't see it, because the most popular thing that normally people would like to work on is what we see, video games, movies, etc. So my tip here is that you have to keep your eyes open here, because there is so many opportunities that it's going to happen. And possibly thanks of AI, what is going to happen is that there will be new companies jumping into the field. Obviously, I'm not going to be talking about NFTs and this kind of stuff, because that's kind of pointless. But you can see it happen, that there will be a whole bunch of new like careers, or even new fields generating out of all of that. And even though AI will be able to generate some inputs and outputs in this sense, at the end of the day, you're going to need an artist to kind of develop that. It's not only putting text and just uploading and that's it. You're going to need to address the texture, to address the model. You will need to even to work on the topology, UVs. I mean, we're talking about such a specific things that I cannot say in the future will be easier to use, or easier for AI to create, to generate. But it feels like the deeper we're getting into this, it feels like the more jobs we are going to start even getting. So I feel, in my opinion, slightly more excited than actually fearful, or this kind of stuff. So I think in that sense, I'm kind of positive about AI. Feels like yeah, there will be more opportunities for all of you guys. My advice here is that please specialize, and that's something, for example, that we teach in our heroes. That's something I'm very pushing our heroes, and it's the fact that we definitely try our guys or students always to specialize, even to find their style, etc. So I want to show you this example about how you can use AI in your advantages. For example, I have here in my computer Topaz Gigapixel, like it's just an app to high res images. I just found this image online to talk about adaptation, because at the end of the day, 3D artists with all this AI booming, we need to adapt. But also I want to I want you to pay notice to notice is that even if I try to high res this image through AI, it looks like crap. Still, so even though AI does the job, it won't do the job perfectly. So it's very interesting. This as a as an example. So as a 3D artist, we have to adapt. So adaptation, I just want to read it for you quickly. Adaptation is the process of the state of adjusting or changing to become more suited to an environment. So we have to make sure that we are even including this AI technology into our pipeline, into our workflow, for our advantage. Okay, so that's pretty much where we have to pay attention. So probably you're asking yourself like, so what do I do to be better than AI? So first of all, you have to specialize. So as I said before, the most generic jobs, like a more generic characters, they are really kind of easier to generate without any experience, and that's something that you need to start doing. You need to start already focusing into one specific field or one or two different fields. So to make sure that you are able to kind of master one specific field, right? So for example, in our heroes, we have the character art programs. We are pretty much focusing into very, very specific, like skills to be sure that our artists are able, or students are able to get into the career and don't be, fear about this kind of stuff. So first of all, you need to specialize your skills. Obviously, use AI for your advantages. I, for example, recently not only I'm using, like the high-res images to sometimes high-res textures or high-res images or references that I need, but sometimes even when I'm trying to brainstorm ideas for concepting, I don't mind using Midjourney or like a DALL-E. It's more for personal stuff, but I feel like it really helps you to kind of drive your imagination as well, and it's not going to constrain you if you don't feel like. So it's very interesting that AI can be even helpful to be a better artist at the end of the day, which is fascinating. And obviously, finally, develop your own style. That's something that I've been always saying for the last years. At the end of the day, most of the recruiters or most of the companies, they will hire you for that specific skill, and also because of the style, right? So it's very important that over the years you can start defining what type of artist you want to be, what type of character artist in our case we want to be. Like in my case, I focus on digital humans, and that's what I'm trying to master, so that's my style. Maybe in your case you want to be very specific, so for certain level of stylization, I don't know, like arcane style or blizzard style, like it doesn't really matter, but the more you specialize into one specific style, the more hireable you will become. So that's something very important for you guys to know. All right, so I don't want to keep you too long. So you guys have an assignment now. So I want you to think about it. So here's the question for today. So what opportunities do you see in AI for you as an artist? So here I want you to think what is the prospect future for you as an artist? What AI is going to bring you for the next years? I mean, that's something for you to think about it, and I can't wait to see the answers for it. All right, guys. So I think that's it for today. Yeah, that was the last slide. So anyway, so thanks for watching, and again, just keep your eyes open with all the AI booming, because I think it's very, Very cool. Don't forget to enter your assignment on our Discord for a chance to win a seat in our Character Art Accelerator. All you need to do is post your daily assignment in the event thread. Every assignment submitted gets you one entry to the Character Art Accelerator raffle. If you don't know what the Character Art Accelerator is, it's our flagship program designed to help you launch your dream art career in just 16 weeks. Together with me and my team of coaches and mentors, we're going to teach you all you need to know to land your first job as a character artist. You'll learn things like character art anatomy, and how to use both stylized and realistic characters, how to recreate a character from a concept and a sphere to presentation and lighting, essential tools for character artists from ZBrush to Substance Painter, full pipeline studios used for characters, how to approach job search and conversations with recruiters. And you finish the program with 2 show-stopping portfolio pieces. The doors open next week and they'll send you more information by then, but for now, all you need to do is post your daily assignments in the event thread on our Discord and we'll draw a lucky winner this Saturday.